So I think I'm being laid off from my job today.
And thus impact your position. Today is going to be your last day.
I'm 30 years old. I'm unemployed. I've been unemployed for 4 months. I literally can't get a job. I've applied to over 150 jobs. I now have negative $4.41 in my savings account because of the monthly service fee that just hit.
If I got laid off, I would do this ASAP. My name is Dev, and I've helped countless engineers land their dream job in AI engineering. Many of my clients were laid off and struggling to find another role, but after following this exact roadmap, they were able to secure their dream offer. If you're watching this, chances are you've been laid off, maybe from a software role, data role, or some other technical job. And right now, your head is probably spinning with questions like, did I just lose all the progress I've made? How am I supposed to break into AI engineering when I can't even land an interview? I want you to hear me clearly. It is not your fault. Companies overhired, markets shifted, and instead of taking accountability, they decided to cut people like you. Talented engineers, because it's easier for them to fix their balance sheet than fix their strategy. But here's the truth. Even in this market, I've had clients who were laid off, and within a few months, they weren't just back in the game. They were in AI engineering roles at places like AMD and Amazon. That's exactly what we're going to cover today. Not just how to recover from a layoff, but how to use it as a turning point into your next and maybe best role yet. And if you'd like to work directly with me to land your next role, as always, click the link in the description. First, you need to give yourself a short window just to reset. One of my clients, let's call him Jack, spent 2 weeks spiraling after his layoff. He was refreshing job boards, applying everywhere, and nothing. So we stopped, paused, and recentered. That short break gave him the clarity to stop acting out of panic and allowed us to come up with a plan for him to land a role he was actually passionate about, AI engineering. So here's the rule. Take a couple of days to breathe, but promise yourself that you'll use this moment as a launch pad and not a dead end. And in just a minute, I'll show you the exact roadmap Jack used. But first, let's make sure you know exactly what's on the table for you right now. Now, before you even think about resumes or LinkedIn, you need to understand your financial runway. Ask yourself, did they offer severance and for how long? Do you still have unvested stock options or a 401k match you need to handle? I've worked with engineers who didn't even realize they had unclaimed vacation payouts until they checked the fine print. And that extra cash literally brought them another month to job hunt without panic. But why does this even matter? Because when you know exactly how long your financial runway is, you stop making decisions out of fear and start moving with intention. And once your finances are clear, that's when you can shift gears into what will actually make or break your AI engineering job search, your positioning. Here's where most engineers go wrong after a layoff. They start mass applying. But let me ask you this. If you're a hiring manager, would you rather interview the person who's just looking for any job or the one who says,
I've been an engineer for a few years, but now I'm specializing in scalable AI systems because that's where my experience and passion intersect.
One of my clients, let's call her Sarah, was a data engineer. After her layoff, she wanted to break into AI, but she didn't have AI engineer on her resume. What we did was reframe her projects. Pipeline automation became productionizing ML workflows, and her intense work with SQL became data readiness for model deployment. She didn't need to start from scratch or make anything up. She just needed to tell her story in the language of AI engineering. And in a moment, I'll show you how Sarah's resume went from 0 callbacks to multiple interviews in just a week. But before that, let's talk about the one thing that's more powerful than a resume. I know you've heard networking is important a million times, but here's the thing. Most people network wrong. They send vague messages like, let me know if you hear of any open positions at your company. That goes nowhere. Instead, here's what I recommend to everyone I work with. First, reconnect with former colleagues and managers. Second, share one specific target. I'm pivoting into applied AI engineering roles. Maybe you're focusing on model deployment. Finally, ask for one highly specific action. Is there anyone in your network working in AI infra who you'd be open to connecting me with? Sarah did exactly this. And one intro led to a conversation, which led to a referral, which landed her an interview at a company she thought was completely out of reach. And that interview, it wasn't just luck. It was because she followed the next step we're about to discuss, which most engineers completely ignore. If you're pivoting into AI engineering, recruiters and hiring managers want proof. Not just that you know Python, but that you can ship something. This doesn't mean you need to publish groundbreaking research. It could be taking an open source model and productionizing it with proper APIs, contributing to open source on GitHub, or simply building a small end-to-end project and writing a short technical breakdown on LinkedIn. One of my clients, Miguel, didn't land any interviews until he posted a walkthrough on LinkedIn of how he optimized an LLM for inference. That single post not only boosted his LinkedIn visibility, but also got him an interview with a startup CEO that directly messaged him. That's the power of proof. It shifts you from applicant number 237 to the engineer who already thinks like an AI practitioner. But proof alone isn't enough, because even the best engineers crash in interviews until they master this next part. AI engineering interviews are tricky because they combine software fundamentals, machine learning, and problem solving under pressure. The mistake most people make is that they do 1 to 2 practice interviews and hope for the best. But here's what works. First, prepare stories that map to AI use cases, like debugging a pipeline or scaling a service. Second, practice live coding on interview platforms that mimic the real thing. And most importantly, anticipate the tell me about a project question with an AI-themed answer. Jack, the client I mentioned earlier, was terrified of interviews. But after we rehearsed how he would talk about his pipeline project, he crushed it. The hiring manager even said, "I can already see you fitting in with our production team." Now, our next and final step isn't just about landing the offer. It's about making sure the offer you accept is the one that sets you up for long-term success. So when the offers come, and they will if you follow this roadmap, don't just accept the first one out of desperation. I've seen engineers accept roles that look shiny on the surface but lock them into dead-end projects. Instead, ask, will I be working directly with AI systems or just supporting them? How much mentorship or growth is really built into this role? And yes, negotiate, even in a tough market. Now, if you want to work directly with me to land your next role, head to the link in the description. We'll have a quick chat and see if you're a right fit. Even if we don't work together, you'll walk away with an actionable game plan. Click the link in the description and we'll talk soon. And if you're looking for another video to watch, check out this one where I break down the entire program step by step. I promise it'll change the way you think about hiring, so click this video and I'll see you there.